last meeting?
The minutes, is that what you're referring to?
Yes, the minutes, excuse me.
I will second
So,
that.
so real quick, I'll do a roll call since Emily, well done on calling the meeting to order. That was very thorough and very official. So
Thank you.
we'll do roll call. Anna Barchi,
Here.
Christian Lindler,
Here.
Nerea McNitt,
Here.
Emily Taylor,
Here.
and Emma Berwanger is absent. And it sounds like she's driving back from Denver, you said?
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah, she's
great.
stuck in a snowstorm.
Well, happens. Hopefully she stays safe. Great. So
Yes.
roll call. Emily, I'll let you take it from here. I think you were going to move to approve the minutes. Is that right?
Yes, so I move to approve the minutes from our last meeting. Do I have to say when that was?
I can second that.
That will suffice. So motion by Emily and second by Anna. I'll do a roll call vote. Anna,
Yes.
Christian,
Yes.
and actually Christian, I don't think you were at the last meeting, so I would recommend that you abstain from the vote since, is that right? Were you at the last meeting?
No, I missed that one. That sounds
You missed that
smart.
one? Okay, so go ahead and just say abstain from vote.
Okay, abstain.
Well done.
Thank you.
Nerea,
Yes.
Emily,
Aye.
and Emma is absent. So yeah, Christian, I hope that makes sense since you just weren't there. It doesn't, it happens at the town council level all the time. If members of council weren't at the preceding meeting, they just refrain from voting on those minutes. It's just kind of just a procedural thing. So
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay, so we're gonna get right into the presentation of the renewable energy video. And so our plan on that. So is it all put together and organized, like edited and everything?
So Emma shared with me a link to Google Drive, I think it is, and I watched a good 20 something minutes of the video. It's pretty long. It's like 30 minutes long, give or take. I'm kind of making that up, but it's, it's pretty lengthy and it's pretty well done. There's a, I don't think we need to display the final product here since it is so lengthy, but after this meeting, I'll distribute the link. If Emily, it sounds like you haven't even seen the final product, right? I wonder if anyone has.
I have not. Has anyone else in here seen it?
Yeah, Emma had me proof watch it and it's all done and good. And I think it did get sent out Earth Day week to everyone.
Yeah,
Like in
I
the
watched
staff
some of it, but then it cut out a little bit. I don't know if it was my Wi-Fi, but I watched like the first 10 minutes.
Okay.
Okay.
So it is put together to answer your question, Emily, and it sounds like it was kind of put out through some channels at the school during Earth Week. By the way, that Earth Day event was pretty cool. I saw some of y'all there representing the youth council, and then that that club that you guys are a part of. I'm forgetting the name of the club, but
The Envirocycle Club.
Envirocycle. Yeah, how can I forget? But yeah, well done. And so it sounds like it's been put out through some channels. I can start putting it out through the town's communication channels. I can put it on our website and stuff too. But I think that project has largely been wrapped up. So well done to all of you. I think the intro portion, which is like a few minutes long with most of you, was well done and serves as a good kind of introduction about why you all had decided to put the video together. So yeah, the whole purpose of this item was just to have you all circle around and have a conversation about how it went. And then of course, we don't want you guys to have gone through all that effort for it not to go anywhere. So we definitely want folks to see it.
Mm-hmm. Oh yes, for sure. Also, does the town have a YouTube channel?
The town does have a YouTube channel. Great question. And we can definitely get it posted there as well. I was planning to, after kind of this conversation, it sounds like, or it seems to me that Emma did the bulk of, putting the video together, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I might need to work with her on getting, well, she did send it to me in Google Drive, so I should be able to download it from there and upload it to the town's YouTube channel. But yeah, good question. We can definitely do that.
Excellent, excellent. Well, then I think that's it with the video. Does anyone else have anything to say about that?
Nope.
Okay. Okay. So now we're moving on to item 3, which is discussions regarding term expiration and departing presentation to the town council. Okay. So we're having this because most of us are seniors, right? And we don't want to be coming back until November, right?
So, right. So we talked about this a little bit last time. Some of you should remember. And the aim at the time was to make a presentation to the town council in 2 days' time. So at the May 12th council meeting, kind of just a recap of what it's been like on the youth council for the last 6 months or so. And then to highlight a few things, in particular, the renewable energy video that you all put together. But I got a note from Emma saying that pretty much what you just said, Emily, some, maybe most of y'all are seniors and you guys are slated to be on is it senior trip on Wednesday?
Yes,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Yeah, no, well, all good. Things happen and really important time in y'all's lives. So that said, I was chatting with John Clark, mayor, and we think it would be appropriate to delay your presentation to the town council to June. The June council meeting is on the 9th. That's a Wednesday, so June 9th. And I know that's probably after the school year has ended. So, sorry to say that there'll be another time commitment, but really do think it's important for you all to make yourselves available to the town council, since you are kind of you are a standing committee of the council, and they'd love to hear about the experience. This was the first year that we had a youth council in place. So they very much appreciate hearing from you all. So you all have some additional time to put a presentation together, but the expectation will be that you all be present for that June 9th council meeting. That's an evening meeting, starts at 5:30 p.m. and it'll be towards the beginning of the meeting.
And is
Alright,
it on
you said it was
Zoom?
May
Oh,
9th.
sorry.
Sorry, Emma. You said it was May 9th at 5:30. It's just that I need to take
Not
if
May
I'm gonna take the
9th.
afternoon off, I have to let my
June
work know
9th.
in advance. Or June 9th, sorry.
Yeah, June 9th, 5:30 p.m.
Okay, thank you.
So will it be on Zoom or will it be in person?
Great question. It remains to be seen. The town council's experimenting, if you will, with a hybrid approach to their next town council meeting, which is this Wednesday. The town council, and town staff will meet in person here at town hall, and then members of the public will be afforded the opportunity to join via Zoom. So that's why I call it the hybrid approach. And I don't know, I guess we'll have to kind of gauge how that meeting goes, but we may hold that approach for the June council meeting. There may be a decision to go to an all, in-person meeting with restrictions, or it may be decided to, and I'm just thinking out loud now, go back to Zoom. So it remains to be seen. We'll get some clarity on that on Wednesday.
Okay, perfect. Excellent. Okay, and then with term ending, we would have to discuss when we would want to end the term, correct? And then have new council members be inducted, correct?
Yeah, good question. So at the meeting back in April, we pinpointed that this would be the final meeting of this term. So this will be effectively be your all's last meeting here. Again, being redundant, but the expectation was that you all were going to be making a report or doing a presentation to the town council, in a couple days time. So this month, but that's being delayed to next month. So hopefully you all have can find some time between now and June 9th to get together and kind of prep for that presentation. Now, to get back to your question about the term and stuff and getting ready for the next council, I don't believe you all need to concern yourselves about that. Late summer, early fall, we'll put out another solicitation with the school, asking students if they're interested in being on the youth council for the next school year, similar to what the process that you all went through. Does that make sense?
Yes, that sounds perfect. Okay.
Great. So is
do we
everyone, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but is everyone okay or okay planning for being there at the June 9th town council meeting?
I don't think it should be a problem with my work. I just need to let them know, and I'll let you know as soon as they answer.
I think I'm good.
I may have to zoom in to that, but I will be there. Yes.
Great. Well, we can definitely accommodate for that. So no worries there. Anna, Christian, any thoughts?
I should be all good.
Me too.
Great.
Awesome. So are we going to move on to talking about the summer concert series?
Yeah, if you guys don't have any other questions about the term expiration or that presentation in council, we can move on.
Excellent.
Sounds good.
So,
Okay.
so I'll go ahead and kind of give an update here. I imagine you all are at least a little familiar with the Ridgway concert series. It's a very well received and pretty popular event here in Ridgway and has been for a while. And John can provide more information or more details on that, given that we've been navigating COVID for quite a while now. Over the last couple of months, we've been having conversations about how to get back to putting on events. And it's not specific to Ridgway. There's communities all across Colorado and the country and the world even trying to figure out how to put events on again. The Love Your Valley, another event that Ridgway puts on annually, has been canceled this year. A big bummer there, but definitely weren't going to have enough time to get that ready to go, given where we're at on the calendar. But last month, the town council directed staff to continue preparations for the Ridgway concert series in July. They take place every Thursday of July, and this year there's 5 Thursdays in July, so that's 5 individual concerts throughout that month, which is quite a bit, especially in a COVID year. So again, the direction from the town council last month was staff keep planning for those concerts. Well, the town council slated to revisit that conversation just purely as an update discussion, and it remains to be seen where that conversation is going to go on Wednesday. But I thought it would be good to gauge or kind of get a sense from you all, your thoughts, suggestions, concerns, recommendations for how to approach the events in general, specifically this concert series, given that there's guidance from the state on and even Uray County on mask usage, on social distancing. And so just, there's definitely concerns out there about how to put on events like this, given all the guidance that could kind of hamstring, I guess is the word I'll use, and just make it more difficult to put on an event. So kind of a lot there. Sorry to ramble for a while, but I kind of wanted to lay it all out there and have you all kind of talk through what your perspective is, given everything I just said, and what you would recommend or think about. And that could definitely help inform the town council's deliberations on Wednesday.
Well, there are many different options with the the concerts because they are outside, which is really nice. Well, one thing we could do is have like a perimeter around it, and you can only enter if you're either wearing a mask or you've been vaccinated, or both, either way. But then the other option, the other thing with that, with having the concert, is that the new variant of COVID is spreading, especially on the western slope of Colorado. And so it's more dangerous for groups to gather. So that's one of the downsides of having the concerts in person. Yeah.
I don't think we should like automatically just like oppose to that idea though. I feel like if people are vaccinated and we can try to keep it like 6 feet apart and maybe do like little, I don't know, like I don't know how we would do it 6 feet apart, but like maybe we can just set up like circles or something and they just have to remain in those little circles. I don't know if that makes sense, but I've seen it before. And then have them wear their mask. I feel like they should be fine, especially if it's like locals and stuff. I don't know. I feel like we shouldn't shut down that idea yet because I know a lot of people who are looking forward to that.
Yes. We
Yeah.
could also, oh, sorry, Anna, go ahead.
I was just saying that I definitely think that like doing the concerts is a good idea because, it's been like a year and a half, and I think it's time to like try and figure out ways that we can like do things that we normally would safely. So I think
Yeah,
things
like
just need to figure out how to make it safely. I would say probably just like masks required unless you're eating or drinking. Maybe have a designated area where people can social distance if they're eating or drinking.
Yeah.
And then wear masks when you're near people.
Yeah, because we can't keep like not doing events for like the rest of our lives because of COVID. Like I understand the first year, but I feel like we should keep trying to like kind of bring things back to normal, even if it's like wearing masks and stuff.
We could also have an online forum where you would have to sign up to be able to enter the park and the concert. So that way we wouldn't have like an immense amount of people and we could kind of control it a bit. Like they could fill out an app on the phone and then have like a QR code or something that they would have to show at the entrance.
Yeah, but
Just
the
to
only
make
problem
it
with that is like
smoother.
tourists that are stopping by in Ridgway, and if they are not aware of that and they see everyone at the park having fun, they're probably going to complain about it.
Well, if we advertise it enough and make it easy enough so that they could do it pretty quickly, then that would work. We could also have like a waiting list. Just ideas trying to control the amount of people in the area.
All really good thoughts and definitely stuff to think through. Christian, do you have anything you want to bring up?
I definitely wouldn't quote myself here, but I saw that the CDC loosened the guidelines a lot for vaccinated people. So I think making it maybe if you're above a certain age that you have to be vaccinated to enter the event would not necessarily be a horrible idea. And then it could be maybe a slightly looser restrictions on it.
The only problem with that is that there's many people that don't want to get vaccinated, and I feel like because I mean they have the right to not get vaccinated if they really don't want to, but I mean
Well,
I
it's
feel
like a
we should,
trade-off.
but I
Like
feel like
if
we
you
should,
don't want to get vaccinated, then you
but
don't.
it's for an event. So obviously, if they want to go to an event and they're required to get vaccinated for like the rest of their lives, I guess I feel like we
Well,
shouldn't force anyone to do anything that
it's
they
more
don't
just
want to, except for like wearing a mask, obviously.
are the concerts run by the town or by a private company? Because I think the town is public. And if the town is a public company, I think there's some law saying that they cannot restrict based on the vaccine. But if it's being run by a private company, they can.
No,
Very
it's
good point.
Yeah, the town runs it. Sorry, Preston, go ahead.
that was what I was going to say. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, this is an interesting discussion. I would just jump in to say all the things that we're discussing are extremely difficult to do with the amount of resources the town has. Doing a barricade it would be extremely, especially if it was something that more than just a piece of caution tape, would be very expensive. There's also, interestingly, the town park was donated to the town by the same family that donated our water supply 100+ years ago. And one of the stipulations on the deed, now this isn't necessarily relevant, but one of the stipulations on the deed is we can't charge for events per se. We have to have nothing but public events. Now, I suppose we could do sort of, I mean, one thing actually the promoter and I discussed on Friday is that we could try and put up some sort of barricade, even if it's just a piece of caution tape. The trick is going to be how do we find enough volunteers to kind of man the barricade, because otherwise people are just going to walk under it. And then we ask people who want to come and try and make it essentially a locals only event, and we give away free tickets at, say, Cimarron Coffee or something, and tell people to go get their free ticket, and they show that to get in, and we wouldn't let anybody else in. Now, again, all of these ideas require a degree of manpower and sort of policing that I'm not sure we have the capability to do. So these are all really good points, and everyone involved at the town level, town council, staff wants to see us make this happen. I think everybody's ready for us to start going back to some form of normal, quote unquote. But the challenge is we're going to get the usual couple of thousand people crowd unless we can put some restrictions on, and how we enforce those restrictions. I'm not sure how we do it. I'm sure Preston would agree.
Yeah, I mean, spot on, John, and Nerea, Anna, y'all made some really good points. Yeah, it's a public event, and Nerea, you had talked about, or I think it was you, it's someone's right not to get the vaccine if they don't want to, and couple that with there's folks that flat out, just to be candid, refuse to wear a mask these days, and everyone thinks differently, what have you, and just policing or enforcing mask usage in a park at a public event like that is and again, don't mean to be melodramatic, but will be a nightmare for staff, given some of our limited resources and stuff. And I heard you all kind of mention the prospect of putting up a perimeter, to define the event boundary and stuff. But I think it's only natural people will congregate at that perimeter if they're not able to get in, and trying to enforce that or regulate that is tough as well. So I just wanted to mention some things that I hadn't heard yet, but there's definitely a lot to think through. And as John said, that and it's not always the best excuse to make, or it doesn't feel cool to use the excuse, but we're definitely limited in resources and manpower and stuff. So that's kind of the pickle we're in, trying to navigate whether or not we should, or how we should put these events on.
Yeah, it's tough. Okay, do we have any other points on that, or shall we move on to item 5?
Well, I'd be curious to, you guys were throwing a lot of good ideas there, and I guess I kind of threw the wet blanket on you about just the limits on what we're capable of doing. I'd love to hear some more thoughts on if you had anything creative to suggest, having heard the kinds of limitations we have, whether you think there's, and I'd love to hear, quite honestly, whether you think we should try and make it locals only. Is that something that you can imagine? I I just don't know. I think it's, there's a lot of different ways we could try to approach this, and I'd just love to hear you guys' thoughts.
The thing with the locals only is like, that's a good idea. However, how can we prove if someone's a local or not? And then there's a lot of family of the locals here that come visit them during the summer. So then that's just like adding on to the amount of people we're having, if that makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah. So I don't know.
My only idea is just having like a designated food and drink space, because then when people like are taking their masks off to eat and drink, they're not in the middle of the crowd with everyone. Like we can make space like over by the picnic tables where like people should eat and drink, and have like if they're taking their masks off to eat and drink, they have their own space to do it.
I agree.
Again,
That sounds like a good
dip-
idea.
It's a good idea. Again, difficult to enforce, and I'm virtually certain that a percentage of the crowd would ignore it, particularly for drinking. But I mean, all we can really do, right, is ask people to cooperate, and hope that the majority of the people do. I mean, in the discussions I've had with friends and staff and whatnot, we all agree that, you know, we can say whatever we want, but getting people to actually conform and agree and you know, wear their masks is going to be, it's going to be a challenge. And I guess the one thought I've had, I haven't even mentioned this to Preston, is you know, there's going to be one concert in Uray, probably on the last Thursday in June. I believe they're just planning the one still, and I'm not sure what, if any, restrictions they're doing. There was talk. I'm a friend with one of the main organizers up there, and he was talking about trying to do some form of 6-foot circles or whatnot. I'm not sure if they're still planning on doing that or not, but that'll be a good sort of test run to see how people behave. And then we may just have to take it a week at a time, and we'll do the first week, and if people cooperate and behave and wear their masks for the most part, then we can proceed. And if they don't, then maybe we'll just have to cancel the rest of the shows. I don't know. It's going to be really interesting to see. Do you guys have any other thoughts?
I don't think so.
Okay. So shall we move on to talking about the water restrictions in town?
Yep, we can do that if you guys are ready to move on.
I think
So-
we are, unless anyone has anything else.
I don't have anything else.
Okay, so water restrictions, it was a few years ago, I think 2018, the town council formally adopted what's called a water conservation and management plan. It was adopted in an attempt to preach water conservation in times of need, especially times of water shortage, drought, etc. There's a really cool website called the US Drought Monitor. I'm trying to remember if that's actually, well, it's drought.gov is the website handle, and I do believe it's the US Drought Monitor. I'll share my screen in a second, but if you've ever checked it out, you just type in your area and it kind of depicts where the state or the region falls in the in the drought category. Again, I'll share my screen in a sec, but there's a pretty good chunk of southwestern Colorado, and especially or particularly Uray County, they're experiencing either severe, extreme, or exceptional drought conditions right now, and we're only in May. So staff's going to be recommending to the town council on Wednesday that they officially promulgate or make widely known through an official motion and vote what we would call stage 1 voluntary water restrictions, and that's based on that adopted water conservation and management plan. Again, they're simply voluntary water restrictions, and there's triggering conditions for these different stages. And for this stage 1 voluntary, the triggering condition is just the drought status on the U.S. Drought Monitor. So give me a second, I'll pull up my screen, but just kind of wanted to depict this for you all and kind of see if you all would or kind of agree with that recommendation, or kind of see eye to eye there, and see if you all have any additional thoughts. And also invite you all to kind of share what you're hearing or what you're seeing out there in relation to the climate.
Yes, that sounds good. I live in a neighborhood where there's a well, and even that runs dry sometimes, and so that's a struggle. But working in town, I know like the water bill is insanely high for some places, and they struggle to pay it. So that's another issue with the water that I've noticed.
Can you all see the screen that I tried to share?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So you'll see Ridgway County there kind of in the middle. And I didn't mean to just brush over your comment. I think that was at you, Emily. Sorry, I was trying to bring up the screen.
Yes, that's all right.
Yeah, sorry about that. We can come back to that in a sec. I just wanted to show you all kind of where Ridgway County falls on that U.S. Drought Monitor. And it's a pretty straightforward little guide here. But you'll see the eastern half of Ridgway County is in the orange shade, which falls in severe drought, and then the western 2/3 really fall in extreme drought. There was a good chunk of last summer that I think at least portions of Ridgway County fell in the exceptional drought category. So this is just what I was referring to earlier. So again, if you haven't checked out this website before, it's hugely informative, and can be scary at times, depending on where you live and kind of what you're dealing with. And right now, Western Colorado is definitely experiencing some pretty impactful drought conditions.
So Nerea and Anna, you guys live in town, right? Well, I know Nerea does. But have you what do you think about the voluntary water restrictions?
I think they were a good idea. Like, I haven't
Like,
had any problems.
elaborate more on
running out
that
of water.
topic though, because I'm not quite sure what you mean. Like, what do you mean by voluntary? I just don't.
Yeah, no, great question. So let me see if I can pull up. I see where you're.
Like the people in town to like volunteer to stop using as much water. Is that what you mean? Like, I don't.
Yeah, in essence, that's what it is. There's a good question. You probably need some more context. I apologize.
No, you're good.
It's pretty much exactly how it sounds. It's voluntary. There's no sort of mandate mandating residents to curb their water usage or anything of the sort. In that management plan, and I'll try to bring that up. I don't know if I have it. I'm running this meeting on an iPad. I don't know how I can bring it up on the iPad, but that management plan based on voluntary water restrictions kind of depicts the recommended water usage, specifically for irrigation type activities, and when they should occur based on those voluntary water restrictions. So again, good question. Sorry for the lack of context, but it really, it's voluntary. No one,
Yeah.
really has to follow it if they don't want to. But we like to think we live in a community that's very conscious of this type of issue and willing to abide by it if it's broadcast widely enough. And so again, that management plan comes equipped with recommendations for following the voluntary water restrictions. It's not just like a blanket, monitor your water usage and try not to use as much water. There's a little more guidance to it.
Okay, I think it would be a good idea, especially because like Ridgway is very like or like Ridgway tries to be very environmental friendly. So I think if we just put it out there, I think it would be a good idea. I think we just need to advertise it like a bit.
Yeah, great thought. I mean, how's anyone supposed to know? You know what I
Mhm.
mean? So,
Yeah.
really good thought. It's really going to be imperative that, you know, if the town council decides to promulgate the voluntary water restrictions, that it be broadcast as widely as possible. So great point there. And we may not be too far off. And again, I'm thinking out loud from having the town council consider additional, you know, restrictions depending on the outlook and what happens in the next, you know, 6 weeks or so. So, and it's, you know, every summer it's something that we all have to monitor. So, but this is just the first step. So,
If there can also be incentives for those who do impose water restrictions upon themselves. We would have to figure out what kind of incentives those would be, but I think that that is a great motivator and could really help us conserve the water.
Yeah, I agree. I think that it's like a very important thing because we saw how like last summer how bad California got with the wildfires. Um, and like Log Hill, like so many homes could be destroyed if there was a wildfire on Log Hill because like we have a small fire department, it would not be under control like instantly. It's so dry up there. I just think like we can take like preventative measures from stuff like that.
absolutely. Christian, anything to add?
No, not that I can think of. I definitely think that's a good idea though, the voluntary restrictions.
Yeah, Anna, going back to your thought, you know, there's definitely items or measures that independent individual households, especially ones in Log Hill, like you're saying. Do you live in Log Hill? Is that what it is?
No, I live in town. That's just something my dad has always been like, oh, when if Log Hill ever catches on fire, it's gonna be bad. I don't know why he's always told me that, but just I think just because it's so dry up there. Like
Yeah, totally. Well, you know,
more than like in town. And just since it's like already kind of far away from the fire department, we have a small fire department, like it'd take them a while to get up there and then like controlling it before it gets big, just all that.
Yeah, no, great point. There's definitely wildfire mitigation measures that households can take to, you know, get their properties in better shape and prepared to fend off those types of events and stuff like that. And then Emily, a great thought about incentivizing households or you know, water customers to, in some way, to curb their water usage. I know that there are some communities that have gone down that path and have, and some of the ideas are escaping me now, but I do know that there's some communities that have enacted some, you know, incentives in some form or another. And it's something that, you know, we'll need to definitely keep a pulse on and see if, you know, how we can approach that. But that's a really good thought.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's always like maybe partial tax breaks or like, I don't know, like maybe a percentage or two off of that, of like property tax or something, because that's controlled by the town. I don't know, something maybe like that.
Anything from anybody else? John, you want to maybe a thought from a member of council as you prepare for Wednesday's meeting?
Yeah, it's been a good discussion. I think there's no doubt in my mind, based on the drought situation, that we need to institute the voluntary restrictions, and just keep, the challenge you, I think, mentioned is just getting people to comply. And I think we need to just keep hammering on the education piece and make sure that people realize just how bad things are and just how bad it would be if, for instance, we didn't have enough water to fight a fire. And it was interesting, just so you guys know, that even last year, can't remember what time of year it was, Preston, I think you were involved, but it even came up in one of our discussions at council, the town council, that there was a built-in component to all this that said if townspeople hear the fire alarm, the fire siren, we should all be turning off our sprinklers or any irrigation that we've got going. And I'm not sure many people know about that. So that's just one example of how important it is that we educate everybody.
Yeah, I definitely didn't know about that. So I feel like that'd be a good topic to teach people about.
Yeah, could we also maybe loosen up on the rainwater collection restrictions? Because that could help out the town water, because then people would be using, the rainwater they collected as opposed to all the town water, to water plants or whatever, just to cut down on.
You're talking about rainwater harvesting, right?
Yes.
I believe I'll send you all some information that we've gathered on that. It's escaping me that specific information, but you raise a good point. I'll send some information about what because the state, there's a component here at the state level in terms of what they regulate, but I'll dig up that information. Long story short, I'll dig up that information and send it y'all's way just so you have it about rainwater harvesting and how all that works. But that's a really good, interesting point you make. Anything else on this topic? I pretty much, my note says there's a bunch of head nods from members of the Youth Advisory Council in relation to a recommendation to promulgate voluntary water restrictions. If anyone disagrees with that, speak now. All right. Well, Mayor Pro Tem Taylor, I think we're ready for the next item. And she's on mute, but I can just take us to the next item if need be. Emily did say she's taking a test currently. Item 6, the last one for the day. Of course, we can chat about anything else if you all deem necessary, but wanted to mention that there's a community weed pull day scheduled for Saturday, May 22nd. I think it's from 9 a.m. Yeah, it starts at 9 a.m. to noon down at Rollins Park here in Ridgway. It's being spearheaded by Julie Kolb with Uray County Vegetation Management. So if you or anyone you know is interested in participating, either because you love pulling weeds or simply want to volunteer some time, or because you're in need of some formal community service hours, this is the perfect opportunity. So please pass this along to anyone you think might be interested. We had our annual cleanup day event or a few weeks back, but last month in April, and it went well and was super well received. I mentioned it the last youth council meeting. Again, it was held on a Saturday. We filled 3 full roll-offs that morning and early afternoon. So I think it was well received by the community, and so I just thought I'd mention this other opportunity to get out there and engage with others and volunteer time. So have any of y'all heard about this weed pull event in a few weeks?
I have not, but I was wondering if so that counts as volunteer hours, correct?
I believe so. Julie had mentioned that to me, but she would be the person or the authority to sign off on any sort of formal, volunteer hours if that's the need.
Yes, I was just wondering because some people in NHS might need some more, and that would be a super easy way to get it.
Awesome.
Emily, also, another suggestion for NHS people is they're doing a fundraiser for the soccer like club in town for the little kids, and it's paper shredding. So I
Oh,
think
perfect.
it's on a Saturday. I don't know if it's this Saturday or the one after it, but if
Okay.
you want to suggest that to NHS for people who need volunteer hours, it is a good idea.
Excellent. Yes, yes, I will share that with them.
All right. Well, that was the plug for Community Weed Pole Day. Again, May 22nd, 9 to noon at Rollins Park here in Ridgway. So if you can make it, great. But definitely do what you can to share the word or spread the word. That was the last item on the agenda. Unless there's anything in particular you all would like to discuss or get updates on.
Well, I was just wondering who would like to do the sum up journal this week or this meeting. And I know Nerea did it last time and Emma did it the time before. I'm open to doing it, whatever.
I'm also open to doing it. I do have like 3 soccer games this week, but I could try.
Yeah, I mean, we could also like work on it together because I have to also finish like my math class this week, the whole math class.
Same. Yeah,
so-
but I'd be down to work on it together, Emily. Is it just
Perfect.
one big paragraph?
Yes, basically, and there are also other examples from weeks or meetings prior that we could
Yes.
base it off of.
So
Perfect, that's
whichever
all I
one of
had.
us gets to it first can do the first half and then share it with the other, and they'll do the second half.
Excellent, sounds
Sounds
good.
Yes, perfect.
Okay, does anyone have anything else?
Nope.
Okay. Well then, can I adjourn the meeting? Press.
Yep, you can certainly do that. And we'll make note that it's 2:04 right now.
Yes, as Mayor Pro Quo, acting as mayor today in absence of Emma Berwanger, I adjourn this meeting on May 10th, 2021, and we are finishing at 2:04 p.m. Mountain Time. Excellent.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everyone.
Sorry I
Thank
was a little late.
Thank you.